Hey, this is Casey, and I'm sitting here with Forever Starts Today. If you guys could go around and just give me a quick intro on what you play.
Hey guys, I'm Christina and I sing.
I'm Troy and I play guitar.
I'm Nick, and I play drums.
I'm Kyle and I play bass.
Awesome. So you guys just had a new album, your first full-length album, come out a little over a month ago, right? Yeah. Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago.
Oh wow. Oh yeah.
It's like 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks, 3 or 4.
Yesterday.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a month.
Yeah.
Or a little no, close to a month. Awesome. And we just want to sit down, touch base with you guys again, and just talk about, just go down track by track, and just talk about, writing the album, writing each song, kind of your inspiration behind everything, and just any stories you have. And we'll just kick it off with first track, which is Invincible.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we ended up picking Invincible to be one of the first tracks because it is light and really fun. It's a good opener. I kind of wrote it just to be kind of like a fun song about like when you first meet somebody and you think like that y'all are into each other, but you're not sure. And it's just like fun, flirty kind of stuff. So that's it from the vocal aspect.
Kyle and I have a couple fun stories with this one. So Christina came to us when we first started writing and was like, guys, I'd really appreciate it if we could write a song with like a really chill verse. Like, because she's always given it 100% on every song. She's like, if we could write a song with a chill verse, that'd be awesome. And so when we'd work through the intro of the song, and Kyle and I just looked at each other and were like, this might be cool. So we threw the little chill verse in there. And the solo was actually a really unique one for me because Kyle described it, because I wasn't sure what direction to take it, and he's like, I want you to write a solo that kids could skateboard to in the summertime.
I think it was like, I want you to write a guitar solo that sounds like kids getting out of school on the last day and skateboarding and doing a ton of drugs. Not that part. But that's like what I like told him to like specifically write to or whatever.
So that was like the inspiration. I don't know if you guys even
I
knew that.
didn't even know that, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back and listen now.
That's what he said, and so I was like, okay, like let me try this. And the version you hear on the record is like the ninth iteration of that solo. And yeah, that's some little cool factoids about that song.
All right, I'm gonna sit out front of a school next time and play that song.
Yeah, kickflips for days.
See it.
I mean, the reason like also first is because like it's kind of got like a build-up guitar intro, like kind of like fun, catchy like verse, choruses, and then your guitar. So it's kind of like a little, I don't know, preview of the rest of the album, kind of. So it's like just a fun like, hey, get into a track, and then as you go down the line, the songs are kind of different with like mood and lyrics and all that. So
yeah,
I just thought we just figured it would fit as a good opener for the album.
Nice. So the next song, and it's my personal favorite on the album.
One of ours too.
Really?
Like for sure.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's mine too.
Oh, nice. Good choice. You guys got good taste.
We're not
excellent
paying you to
taste.
say that either.
Yeah, excellent taste. Not this time. So yeah.
Yeah, so not this time. I think Kyle, you wrote most of it, right? For Not
Kyle
This
and I
Time?
did.
It was originally an acoustic song.
Yeah, we wrote it on acoustic guitars. We were just kind of messing around with this progression that we really like. We still have the original acoustic video that we sent to Christina as like a demo. And I just played that little lead over it, and Kyle and I were just like losing our minds. We're like, this song is tight. Like, we got to get this to Christina ASAP. And so normally we like demo out all the songs in full before sending them to her. And we're like, we can't wait. Like, this can't wait. We got to send this to her now.
Yeah, and I got it, and I was kind of searching for inspiration for this song. A lot of the times in our songwriting process, I'll get the songs already demoed out from the guys. They'll send it to me, and I'll kind of listen to it and see like what the vibe is of the song, see if there's any attitude in there, and then I'll kind of go from there with the lyrics. And with this one, I was inspired by a story that happened to one of my friends where she was just in a toxic relationship that continued to circle. He would treat her poorly, and she'd run back to him, and so I just wanted to write something that said like, not this time, I'm cutting this off for myself. So hopefully that can be helpful to anybody who's been in that situation.
Nice.
I got one. So whenever we were recording this, the chorus actually used to be a like upbeat, like pop punk chorus, and I played it through once, and the producer Joey Milligan was like, "Try this for a little bit. Do halftime on the hi-hats and do like a kind of a dance beat." And we played it through one time and stopped, and he's like, "Yeah, do that." And so anytime people are like, "How'd you guys get this? How'd you guys get this?" And we're like, it was just like a little 30-second talk between me and Joey when I was recording.
They didn't even tell us. We show up to record like guitars and stuff, and we get to that chorus, and we're like, "Oh yeah, that's a thing," and it's like blowing our minds. We were not.
Joey knows what's up.
Yeah, Joey has a great ear. We're super fortunate to work with him.
Nice. So the third one is also your third single, correct?
Yeah,
Last One Standing, featuring Sherman Taylor from Burning Years.
Yeah, that's that
homework.
boy.
Homework.
Good job.
Yeah. Shout out Burning Years. Those are some of our best friends.
Nice.
Also Nate's dad.
Yeah, their bass player looks related to Nathan. Nathan's not here to defend himself, so so they have a bass player named Devin. They always get mistaken for like brothers and stuff at shows. It's so funny.
No, I saw them play a house show a couple weeks ago, and
You think it was?
I thought it was
Yeah.
I thought it might be the same person.
Devin and I actually went to school together. Like
Yeah.
we have the same degree.
No.
And yeah, we'd met each other in class one day, and it was like, wait a second, I know you. Yeah.
Nice.
Kyle had that song written for a little while.
Yeah, that
the
song's
instrumental.
like 4 years old.
Oh wow.
And what's funny is like before I moved here, I recorded it. I was like, I was trying to find someone to sing over it. And I was like, well, what would it sound like if I had a girl sing over it? This was before I moved here. And I moved here, and like the first song when we started writing, I presented that to him, and I just thought it was kind of ironic how I kind of foreshadowed like I actually do have a girl singing over the song. But that song was like the first one we wrote like all together and finished.
Yeah, that's the first time we wrote for the record, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's really cool.
We'd been wanting to get Sherman as a guest vocal for a little while, and so a lot of the writing process were like cool, like is there a place where we could fit? We just didn't want to just throw him in. And we actually we tracked a really early version of it, and Christina was like, I think it'd be really cool to have Sherman on the choruses of this song, which is a little bit different, but man, that dude's got the voice.
No.
It feels like a drop kick to the chest every time I hear that man sing like anything, and so
Yeah, I actually don't like the song. I just fast forwarded to his part. I'm good now.
that's Mike's favorite song on the record. Mike Ziemer from Third String.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I wanted that song to be really strong live when we play it, and I think it ended up sounding very big when we recorded it. And it's fun because Sherman does play on stage with us whenever we do that song most of the time. And what's really cool is I wrote that song about like whatever you're going through, like just fighting through and pushing through it as long as like you have a support system or your friends. And there's one line, open arms with everyone that we know. And so I wrote that part, and like whenever we're playing it, I was like, open up my arms.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I'm like hugging the audience, because I'm like, I love all you guys. Nobody knows that, but that's kind of what I do. And then it was really cool because we played our album release show recently, and on that part, I saw a line of people in the front, and they all put their arms around each other. And it's so cool that there's like that unity in music and at our concerts, and that we can bring people together like that. It was a really cool moment.
Nice. So the next track is Echo, which is another one of my favorites.
Yeah. I wrote that song before the Limitless EP came out.
Oh, no. Oh wow.
I wrote it. Yeah, I wrote it in December 2015. The chorus is a total ripoff of like how Billy Joe Armstrong plays guitar.
Oh yeah.
Like the slide and like the open, like the bottom strings and like ringing through the top strings. Yeah. I totally. I mean, that was like that's probably my biggest inspiration in pop punk music is Green Day. That's what I grew up on, and so like.
I remember you mentioning it. Last time we talked, that was kind of what made you.
Yeah, so I wrote that sitting on my mom's couch at home like 3 days before Christmas in 2015. And we just sat on it for a while, and I was like, okay, like, here's a song. That intro we wrote, like, I think, like, the night before we went into the studio. The octaves, the like, and I played that, and Kyle was like, that reminds me of Sum 41, that's tight, let's do that.
Sum 41's good.
Yeah.
That song is really special to me because it's a really strong anthem about how you should be yourself and not have anybody else tell you who to be or how to act in front of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the chorus line, I want to be a voice, not an echo. I love that so much, and I'm really happy with how the song turned out as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's the part that resonated with me the most. Just that one line. I was like,
yeah. I see it like on a shirt or like I don't know, on a post. I don't know. I'm figuring it out.
We talked about putting it on a shirt.
Yeah, it's definitely marketable.
Yeah,
yeah. It would have been my MySpace quote if I saw
it.
Oh,
yay!
Bringing it back.
Yeah, it would have been it.
That's cool.
Yeah. So cool. So the next song is your very first single you had, and also too, you guys shot the video. I think it was like a week or two after the last time we talked.
Yeah.
So it was,
we had it planned like the following weekend.
Yeah, it was really close to that.
Yeah.
Like musically with that one, when we were writing it, the first thing that came to my mind was like, yo, this is like a second version of the song Limitless. And we just felt like the way like the intro came together and then all the chords hit, it sounded like really epic. So I figured maybe when we present it to Joey and everything's done, it could be like, this could be like a ballad or something, like a really strong song, especially with like the lyrics and whatnot. So that was kind of like another thing into why it was picked as a single. Mm-hmm. But when we heard the lyrics and everything come together, we're like, that's the first song we want people to hear when when we put the album out or the first music video.
Yeah, we thought the strength of the song. Because we were pretty stoked on that one when we first wrote it. That was another one that we sent over to Christina like immediately, and we were just super excited about the whole song. And I'll never forget sitting in the studio recording it. It's like the first vocal day, and Christina hits the first part of the chorus, the I Tried, and I'd never really gotten to hear it all that well because whenever we'd practice it, I have earplugs in, there's a lot of loud stuff going on, so I never really got to hear what she was doing. And she hits that first note, and I literally fall out of my chair. Like, I'm like on the ground, like looking at our producer, and even Joey's like, his mouth is agape, and he's like, whoa, like that was crazy. And so that was the moment where I was like, okay, cool, like this is, we wanted to come out with a bang, and
that'll do it.
Yeah, we think we achieved with that. So, that's why we wanted to make that the first. That was supposed to be the only real music video.
Really?
And then the other two videos just kind of turned into music videos. But yeah, that was going to be the only real music video.
And no one told us like these are the 3 songs you have to put out. Like it was all really like our call.
Yeah.
They kind of just backed us. Like that's a good idea. So. But originally we were just gonna do a music video and like a lyric video and like a YouTube artwork video. But it was like, as a viewer, when you want to see something more, if you could, than just like lyrics across the screen or whatever. So it cost a lot of money, but in the end, it was totally worth it, especially for the promotion of the album. So the 3 music videos weren't supposed to happen, but we're all glad they did.
Yeah.
We love doing music videos now, so look for more in the future.
We have a fun time with that.
So Optimist, after Optimist, the pace really just changes and slows down a lot to Miracle, because you can kind of tell through the album, at least my perception was it keeps ramping up and ramping up and ramping up, and then Optimist comes out. And
we try to like kind of like snake our way up, and then it's like, okay, we need to give people a breather.
Because Optimist is pretty intense, so you kind of drop it down a little bit,
There's
to Miracle.
specific reasons songs are in a certain order.
Yeah.
Especially the next one after the album.
Miracle's cool. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Nathan wrote most of that song.
Oh, really?
And he came to me with that idea, that intro, and he was playing it in 4. Like, I don't know how much music terminology like you or like your listeners are, but like he was playing it like in 4 beats of measure. I'm like, dude, this is in 3, and so like it was actually kind of like an engineering conundrum for me to be able to get him to demo it well, but also like send it to Nick, who's got a lot of like jazz background, and I'm like, I can say, yeah, it's in 3, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. And we actually recorded it in 4 on the record, and he was able to like transpose it in his head on the fly to like playing it in 3. Like,
yeah, whenever I first heard it, it was in 4, and like we practiced it in 4. I was like, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be choppy and it's gonna be weird. So eventually, I kind of figured out, all right, I can throw this in 6/8 time, which is 3/4, same thing, nerd. But once I got that and kind of got it to where it had that
yeah, it's got like a rolling feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
had that kind of groove going on, it just completely changed how the song worked.
Yeah.
And just kind of made it where everything just kind of evened out and everything sounded really good. I liked how that turned out.
Nate insisted we recorded the demo in 4, and I program a lot of the drums, and then I like just to kind of give him an idea of like the feel I'm going for with the song, and then he makes it his own. It was a nightmare writing drums to that in 4. Like, I'm so glad we got Nick, because Nick crushed that. He did a fantastic job.
Yeah, we just thought it would be a good song to put on the album to show that we can be dynamic. And although we do like to go 110% all the time, like we can bring it down a little bit, you know?
We play that one acoustic sometimes, like when we have like little one-off acoustic gigs. Like people like that acoustic.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Nice. So the next song is your second single, Skyline.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get fangirl on you, but I will for just a minute. Like when I first heard the Optimist, I was like, well, that's awesome. And then I heard Skyline, I was like, well, this album's gonna be awesome. I was like, oh my god, because I was like, wow, this is really gonna be great, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah. So sorry, not to gush. That's the extent of my gushing, but I was like, I was pretty pumped.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what got me pumped. I was like, okay, now I'm pumped.
Cool.
Skyline was one of the last songs that I think I put lyrics to.
Oh, wow.
And by then, I was just pumping out so many different topics and lyrics that my brain was kind of going, like I was going brain dead on songs. And I ended up texting Troy and Nathan and was like, hey, y'all, I need some help. Like, I have this idea, and Skyline is actually about a lot of the struggles that Forever Starts Today went through at the very beginning. I was kind of convinced that we were a cursed band because every step forward, like the song says, we'd get knocked like 3 steps back. And I said, hey, what would really help me is if both of you guys could write about what our experiences were like in the beginning for you personally, and then I can bring it together in the song. So both of them did that. They wrote out a couple paragraphs, sent it to me, and I took different lines from each of their experiences in our band when we were losing members left and right, and like at pivotal times when we'd go into recording. And we actually recorded our first album 5 different times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like the 5th time we finally released it. So we spent so much money, and we just felt like this is not working out. And so Skyline is not supposed to be like some kind of song where it's like talking about how awesome we are. It's actually really personal, saying like that we made it through what we didn't think we were going to make it through. And it's just a really cool backstory.
Kyle had that one written for a little while too, the instrumental. I remember when he first moved down, he showed it to me, and then Nate added in those leads. And it's one of my favorite songs on the record. It's different. It's got like that fast like punk beat. Our producer calls it the forbidden beat.
The reason it's after Miracle is because like Miracle kind of like chills you out. It's like, oh cool, it's all mellow. And the first second of Skyline is just like the fast punk beat. So it's like, as a listener's point of view, it's supposed to pick you back up and be like, oh crap, you know, what else is next?
We're back.
That's like the adrenaline shot of the record.
That's a strategic part of the song placement on the album. It was on purpose.
It almost wasn't a single.
Oh, really?
We changed that last minute.
True.
We were going to have the other single be the title track, Always Hope. But Chris McClelland of Nominee, we were at a show, and we'd kind of been talking about this a little bit already. And in less explicit terms, he said to me, "You're messing up if you don't make Skyline a single." And so I took that to heart, and like we'd kind of already been talking about it. I'm like, Chris digs it because we gave the nominee guys a little bit of a preview of the record, and he was like so hyped on that song. Yeah, so we're like, cool. It's different. I think ultimately what it came down to is I think in the meeting Kyle was like, it's like a good change of pace. Like it showed like how Miracle's a good change of pace, like bringing things down a little bit. That shows more of the punk side of pop punk, even though we still classify ourselves like pop rock, power pop.
We try to mix it. We don't want to just be, we're this or just that.
Yeah.
It's a good mix all the styles together to appeal to more people. Rather than just label yourself as, we're pop punk or we're pop rock or whatever. I don't know. I just don't like labeling. We play whatever we want to play.
Yeah.
And whoever wants to listen to it,
People like to start circle pits playing that song. I never thought I'd see that with this band, but
That's where you get your street cred.
yeah, right. When you're playing with bands, like Burning Ears and Dozer, who like have those songs, like it's like cool. Like it's kind of like a little tribute to you guys. But
We're all the big boys.
mm.
Cool. So your next song is I Don't Want to Say.
Yes.
Sorry, I only said that with a question mark because I can't read my own handwriting right now.
Yeah, so the next song, I Don't Want to Say, that one was kind of fun. I don't think really anybody knows what inspired that song, but we have an event here in Austin called Jimmy Eat Wednesday. It's just like a really awesome event where like everybody goes and there's all these these regular bands who get to play covers, and then all of our friends just go and we all hang out and we sing these old cover songs from high school, and basically it was just a way of saying like I don't want to say goodnight because we're having such a great time all together. And I never thought either that I would write a song saying raise your glass.
That took us all by surprise.
I don't drink a lot.
It's more like, she's one of the Pluckers, it's different.
Yeah.
It's more like raise your Batman.
Yeah,
if you know the Pluckers or know what that is.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody's just having a great time together, and so I kind of did that as my ode to like our Austin music scene, which is really strong down here, and just kind of I don't know, almost a song to say like thanks for all the good times.
Yeah, it really is like family to us, the whole scene. So that's
it's a fun one.
Yeah. That's another riff Kyle had for a long time.
That might be like 14 years old.
Yeah, like
I had that riff since I was like 14.
the riff in the chorus.
Sorry.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
The ending of the song has kind of like an around part where I'm like, I don't want to say. And I got that inspiration from, I think it's the end of Feeling This. I always really liked how like Mark and Tom's voices like go around for outros. And so I wanted to have something kind of similar to that. So we threw that in, and I really like it. I think that's probably my favorite part of that song.
Nice. So the next song is Growing Pains, and I do have one question about it. Who does the intro?
Oh, Nathan.
Nathan?
Yeah.
Nathan?
He came to me with just that.
Really?
Like he comes over to my house. He's like, "Yo, I got a sweet song idea." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And so he comes over to my house, and he plays that intro, and I'm like, "That's tight. What's next?" He's like, "That's all I've got."
Yeah, you can really tell too because there's a really split because that's where you feel that song ends and the next one begins.
Yeah.
It's almost as it's kind of like your Bohemian Rhapsody where it's two songs fused into one.
I don't know if I want to go that far yet. So it's like so Nate sits down and he shows me this part and I'm like, that's great. Where do you want to go with this next? He's like, I have no idea. He's like, I thought this part was cool. I wanted to demo it with you so we could write it, get it done with. So I'm like, okay. And we're just kind of spitballing ideas back and forth. And he comes up with that riff, the da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. And so he's playing that. And so we track that. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And like we worked through it, and I'm like, hold on, I have an idea for the intro, and that's where I came out with the like just the strong ring outs, where so it like comes in really heavy. Him and I knocked that song out in like a day.
Oh, really?
Most of the songs that were demoed and written in like one session. Like we said, some of them we went back and revised, but really like it's really kind of cool. Like I've never been the kind to like revisit papers when I was in high school and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there were times that we went back and fixed things.
Well,
but
Optimus, that's the second version of it.
Optimus,
Because the first version sounded completely
different. The original version of Optimus sounded literally. I don't think we saved
It
any
sounded
parts.
like a Thrice cover kind of.
It sounded like a Thrice
It
cover.
was really different.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's just rewrite this whole thing.
Yeah, it was gonna have another double solo like in Limitless, where Nathan and I trade off, and we actually had the same idea of him starting this one because in the Limitless solos, he starts on roughly the same note that I end on for like musical continuity, and we were gonna do that same thing, and then we ended up just rewriting the entire song, top to bottom. But yeah, like. I just totally blanked. Growing Pains was like just kind of written in an afternoon, and we just had a lot of fun. It was originally titled, and this might make some sense. I used acronyms, which I thought was a good idea when I was naming demos, but it was awful. Don't do that. It was NWI, which stood for Nate Wonder Years, because he was like, I've got this song that reminds me of the Wonder Years.
So you went with like another early '90s sitcom title instead.
Right.
I think didn't Nate came up with Growing Pains? Yeah, he did. He liked that name. He actually came over really late at night because I told him, I was like, man, I need some help writing on this song, and that's besides Skyline, like them sending me a couple paragraphs, me and Nate actually worked together lyrically on that song. So a lot of that song, the lyrics are his idea, which I never really worked with somebody else lyrically, so that one's got a lot of Nate on it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That song's very much about Nate.
Yeah, it is. It is.
No, like it totally is.
He lives in a small town, and one of these days he's gonna get out of it.
Yeah, he's not quite pop punk enough
The
yet.
pop punk dream is slowly becoming
A reality.
Nice. So the next song is Alana?
Yes. All right, I'll start. So they wrote. Do y'all want to talk about like how you wrote it acoustically first? Because that's what came.
Yeah.
Well, that's the second version of that song too. Like,
Yeah.
You wrote an acoustic song, kind of sounded like Dashboard.
Yeah, I wrote a very dashboardy acoustic song.
And then I was like, let's just make it all upbeat. And then me and Troy rearranged some of the chords, and that's how we got the second version of that song.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like with acoustic songs, not a lot of people do it, but most of the time they do like kind of like sad acoustic slow stuff, and I kind of like upbeat happy acoustic stuff. So that's why I just wanted to do up tempo with all the chords and everything, because we didn't know what the lyrics were gonna be like.
Oh wow.
So that's how that version of that song came about.
Yeah, we'd wanted to write an acoustic song for a little while, and then that was just, I was sitting in my boxers in my living room, and I came up with a dashboardy version. Still the same chords. But Kyle was like, we should strum it out to make it, a little more upbeat, a little faster, give it, some energy. And so we're like, okay, cool. And then that's the version that's on the record, minus the additions that our producer made. But he kept that one pretty true. He's the one who added in the piano interlude there. As well as he actually did the auxiliary percussion. Like, he went in there and like recorded like single like kick drum beats, like using a mallet. And I just sat in the control room and I hit record for him.
The best part was on my last, I had one day to record on the bass. It's like, Joey, like, you want to play bass on the demos I play with my fingers, and I just, he's like, no, I think we're good. And then like the next day he's like, this song needs bass.
Yeah.
And he records bass on that song. So Joey's literally playing bass on
that song.
both albums, EP and this.
Because he did all the bass on the Limitless EP. We're in there recording the acoustic song, and he's sitting there behind the computer, and he turns to me and makes like, that emoji face that's got like the wide mouth. Like, I'm trying for the people listening, so I'm not drawing a picture. He made like that face at me. He's like, Kyle's gonna hate me. I'm like, what? It's like, I want bass on this now, and I'm gonna record bass, and he's not here. And so I texted him, and Kyle was a little upset because I can vouch. Like, he's like, no, he's like, bass would be really cool. I want to put bass. Joey was like, no, we don't need bass. We don't need bass. And then sure enough, we needed bass. I think he just wanted to play bass on our record, and that's fine.
It's cool. I let it play.
But that one is probably, for me, one of the most important tracks because it's dedicated to a girl who used to go to our shows kind of back when we were really nobody and like just our friends and family came. And so she was like a continuous fan, like one of the first people who believed in us before anybody else. And she was 20 years old, just turned 21, and she passed away in a really bad accident. And I had grown a relationship or like a friendship with her and wanted to kind of dedicate that song to her. And so I actually spent, I think totaled up, it was like 13 hours working on getting those lyrics perfect because I knew that all of our family and friends were going to hear it and I wanted it to do her justice. And actually rewrote a lot of the lyrics the night before we ended up recording that song because I was just obsessing over it so much. And her family and friends have since listened to it and they've said some really nice things and how now she gets to live on forever and hopefully her story can help other people heal as well who are going through the loss of a loved one. So a lot of people think it's actually a love song, which it could be perceived as, but it's a dedication to Alana Rich.
Well, it's love, just not romantic love.
Yeah.
So cool. So the last track is your title track.
Always hope.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That one was a lot of fun for me. I was super hyped. I came up with the chord progression on an acoustic guitar, and I immediately called Kyle. I think it was like the third or fourth song that we wrote.
It's like the second we started.
Yeah, it was one of the early ones that we wrote because we wrote more songs than ended up being on the record. And so this was one of the really early ones, and I was so stoked on it. Like, there was a period of time where I considered it like my magnum opus, right? Like, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever written. It's incredible. And our friend Jose Borrero came in and played piano at the end, the outro. I didn't realize this until a friend of mine I used to be in a band with, Nick and I used to be in a band with, the main melody of the piano outro is actually something I wrote in a song on guitar years ago. And I didn't realize that until my buddy pointed it out. I came over to where Kyle was living at the time and, just started with like the verse and the chorus on that song. That's what I had written. And he was like, what if you did like a picked out, like kind of riff thing for the intro? And it was, he threw a couple ideas at me of a couple different songs, and then I just kind of came up with that riff. And Kyle spent like a month like figuring out how I played it on the acoustic guitar.
It was like a week. You're just trying to give yourself more credit.
Something like that. Kyle, every time I'd come over, Kyle would play it, and I'd be like, "Oh, you're close. You're close." That one, I'm really proud of that one, and that one, I think is definitely one of the more emotional and powerful songs, and so I'm really proud of it. With how hard I worked on that song, and just how cool it is that it all came together. Our mastering engineer, Paul Levitt, is the one who put the strings at the very end, like the plug strings. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many people have noticed that. It took me a few listens to notice it. But yeah, he actually threw those in for us, and we're like, that's awesome. Great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, it reminded me of the outro to, I can't think of the album right now. It was a Coheed album. Where they
that's kind of, as soon as we wrote it, I'm like, if this makes the record, this needs to be the last.
What?
Welcome home.
Same plex string outro to it.
Yeah, when we wrote that, I was like, okay, if this makes the record, I want it to be like the last song because it has that really bad. The song is like 3.5 minutes long, but with the piano outro, it's like 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, I was like, okay, this is the bow on top of this makes the record.
I think even the piano outro really has the same kind of almost like somber but yet hopeful vibe to it that the lyrics speak through, and almost hope, or always hope. So that one I work at a children's advocacy center against child and sexual abuse, but I do the graphic design there, so I don't actually spend a lot of time with the children, but they were short on staff, so I ended up spending some time just playing with some of the kids who have been through all of these traumatic events, and I got to talk with them and kind of see how they worked, and it was really interesting to me because they're so young and this is so many people's reality. It's a really heavy topic, which normally in the past we haven't touched on, but I wanted to write something that could be for kids who are going through any kind of like abuse or really anything that's hard, and teach them that there is always hope, kind of like at my work what we do with the children there. We help them with like therapy services and medical services and all that to get over their trauma. So that one is really special to me as well. That one and Alana, I think, are like, it's got my whole heart in it.
Mm-hmm. I really think, especially this song too, because your lyrics, not just on this album, but on like both your albums, are very positive and are empowering. And the title of the album is Always Hope, and in that track, I guess it kind of serves as an ellipses, because the story continues, to the rest, especially with that, like you said, the plexing outro kind of just serves as a musical ellipses to the whole concept of just the message that you're bringing.
Yeah,
I mean that was my what I felt when I first listened to it.
That was a little bit of the goal, and that's kind of part of why, because once we'd gotten all the songs back, because until Christina wrote the lyrics to Alana, Always Hope was what I considered like the most emotional and moving song. They're both incredibly emotional songs, and when we were talking about the title, because we had like 10 other like album title ideas. Mm-hmm. None of them were Always Hope until we burned through all of them. And so we just talked about it, and we're like, is there a song that we feel really like kind of sums up not just what this record is about, but what we're about as a band, that we could use as like the title track. And I think Christina brought that up, and it was just at that point we're just like, yeah, like that feels right.
So it wasn't, I don't think, we actually decided it all sitting together in Chili's. We were trying to come up with our album title.
Yeah, we tried at where you last interviewed us at Nick's old place. We tried talking about it there, and we like didn't get anywhere. And we were just like sitting around Chili's, like eating queso.
We were like, we know we want it to be really positive, something like be strong, but not be strong.
Yeah.
And then I think I was like, what if we just call it Always Hope? So the track or the album in my head was not titled Always Hope because we had a song Always Hope. It just kind of ended up being the same thing.
Yeah.
Because that was the message that we wanted to portray.
Hey guys, we got some shows coming up. We have a show on the 29th down in San Antonio at Imagine Books and Records. It's for a suicide prevention awareness. And then we're also doing the third year anniversary show up in Dallas for Third String Records at the Dirty 30 with all of our label mates. So hope you guys come out and support. We're also looking to do a tour coming up in the next fall, so be on the lookout for that as well.
Nailed it! I'm so impressed.
You said tour.